You know this exact moment. Voices are raised, metrics are weaponized, and two people lean across a table, locked in a bitter fight over strategy. From the inside, it feels like you are defending an objective truth. But ancient philosophy identifies a different root cause. The Maha Quán calls this chu kien kenk, a distorted lens of prejudice. When we fight this hard in the boardroom, we are rarely defending the actual data. We are defending our own ego. When that ego is challenged, we often fall into specific behavioral traps. The first is the nihilist. If their ideas aren't accepted, nothing matters. They stop hitting deadlines, leaving their team to carry the dead weight of their resentment. Then there is the fake Zen employee. This person uses the idea of going with the flow to justify a lack of ambition. They avoid any friction or difficult tasks, claiming they are simply maintaining their peace, when they are actually avoiding responsibility. Finally, there is the intellectually arrogant leader. This person uses their high-level vocabulary and command of data as a blade, winning every debate by humiliating their critics rather than solving the problem. This rigid attachment to being right leads to a predictable outcome. It creates fractured teams, a culture of defensive silence, and eventually deep professional burnout. To dismantle this mental gridlock, the ancient text Maha Quán outlines a specific framework called the 10-vehicle meditation. This is a psychological surgery designed to baktak, or peel back, the layers of our own thinking. Professional growth only begins when you stop trying to defeat your opponent and start deconstructing your own mind. Picture the second before you snap at a colleague. Your heart rate is up, you're entirely convinced you have the moral high ground. Step 1 requires you to view your absolute truth as a fragile construct. In reality, your opinion is built on a dozen temporary variables: your current stress level, your specific department's bias, and the immediate pressure of a deadline. Step 2 pivots to your opponent. By recognizing that their aggression often stems from their own fear of failure or hidden workload pressures, you can adopt a strategic compassion that de-escalates the fight. But you can't be compassionate if your body is in fight or flight. Step 3 uses your breath to lower your heart rate and settle the anger. In Step 4, you analyze your argument's foundation. By tracing the logic back, you find it relies on shifting circumstances rather than a solid reality. Emptying your mind of rigid opinions might seem like it makes you a weak leader, but removing the ego doesn't remove your logic or your ability to decide. Steps 5 and 6 focus on identifying mental blockages and applying tools like right speech. Because you aren't trying to protect your pride, you can evaluate the data clearly and communicate in a way that shifts the room toward the project's goals. If your ego still resists, Step 7 applies a bitter medicine. You force your self-importance to yield by taking a counterintuitive action, like publicly validating a critic's point or admitting you missed a detail. By stripping away the emotional defense of your ego, you view the conflict with the precision of an outside observer. You can see the actual mechanics of the problem, allowing you to move toward a solution while others are still reacting to the friction. The meeting ends. You've successfully resolved the conflict and the project is moving forward. You feel composed and highly evolved. This feeling is the birth of spiritual arrogance. You begin viewing your coworkers as less enlightened or unevolved compared to your new, calm perspective. This quiet superiority is a hidden danger to your career. It creates a new wall between you and your team, making you just as rigid as you were before, but under a new Zen label. Steps 8 and 9 require you to endure office gossip without feeling the need to defend your character. You maintain your composure without demanding recognition. Finally, Step 10 throws the methodology away. You stop identifying as enlightened. Once the ego is dismantled, the tools have done their job, and you return to a simple, neutral presence. The goal is to reach a point where you no longer feel the pride of having mastered your own mind. This balance is what the text calls Trun Dao, or the middle way. It is an operating system that allows you to work within intense corporate environments and make difficult, aggressive decisions without absorbing the emotional toxicity of the competition. You shift from seeing coworkers as obstacles to seeing the entire company as a single, interconnected organism. Every interaction becomes a necessary exchange of energy, rather than a battle for dominance. This perspective turns the office into a daily dojo. Every stressful client or failed strategy becomes a high-stakes opportunity to practice focus and refine your internal resilience. The result is a mind without borders. It is highly adaptable to sudden market shifts and remains focused on effective responses rather than reactive panic during workplace chaos. Professional freedom is found at the intersection of extreme accountability for your work and zero attachment to your ego.